Good morning. Our hand today is pocket sevens on the button. Villain's going to open raise at 2.8. Villain's playing 25-15 over about 80 hands. In the cutoff, he's played about 30%. His raise first in is 0 out of 2. This is the first time. I'm just going to pick arbitrary range. Maybe this is like 25%. I think quite a few people play a range like that. He doesn't seem overly passive. If he was overly passive, I'd take out a lot of these speculative hands and just kind of restrict it to, big pocket pairs, suited aces. And then it would be on me. And I've been looking at different ranges. I've got button versus cutoff. I've got a 3-bet or call. And sevens fall into that. And that's, as I look at this hand, it's definitely possible that I could play it that way. An alternate method, if we look at button versus cutoff, my 3-bet looks something like this, and then the call is a little bit wider, a little bit stronger. For this type of game, I think we could call. We're going to be in position throughout the hand. We have a big blind in the unknown. We have somewhat of a loose player that it's only called 2 bets, 23% in the small blind. He has a big stack, unfortunately. So I think 3-betting could be okay. We could probably expect to pick up the pot. He does fold to 3-bet 50%. Only 2 times he's faced it, but I think calling is going to be okay. So then both blinds call, and we flop trip sevens, but it is a monotone flop. So blinds check, it's to me. Or blind check, pre-flop raiser bets half pot. It's to me. Do I call it a raise? GTO software that I have doesn't do multiplayer, but I think we can look at this and say we could raise. I think raising could be kind of bad, because if we raise and one of these other players shove or raise over the top, it's gonna put us into a bad situation. They could already have the diamond draw, or diamond flush. They could have a weaker diamond flush. They could be calling with ace of diamonds, hoping to hit, or raising with ace or king of diamonds. I think it's probably does its best just to call here instead of raise and see what develops. So that's what I did. And then we see a turn of a 9. So puts up, gut shot now, possible straight. Villain checks, and it's on us. And this is, I think, a good spot to go ahead and bet. I bet half pot. I kind of feel like we should probably be betting a little bit more. May it, polarize our range a bit more. He calls, and then rivers the 3 diamonds, and he checks. And I think at this point, I'm not sure if we could be ahead. I kind of feel like he checked, or he took the c-bet because he had a lone diamond. He checked because he didn't have the flush yet, and then now that the diamond came, I feel like he's just gonna check call with that diamond draw. So what I'm curious about is, what does GTO suggest? How does it suggest I play? So this is what we have. And we're going to probably have to fix some things because we've got the players behind us. All right, so Villain's going to c-bet about 60% of the time. And I do agree with that. He's going to c-bet the flush a lot. He's going to c-bet his sets, his 2-pair, his overpair, top pair hands. Middle pair is surprising. It's going to be maybe like you're not going to give up on the middle pair, but you're going to be betting some of those 10s, and you're going to do it because most of them have some sort of backdoor draw tied to it. So like 10-9, you can hit an 8 to give you an open ender. You can hit a jack to give you an open ender. There's it's not just middle pair. You have some draws with it. Weak pair, same thing. You're going to be betting some of these 7s with ace kickers. Just overall, you're going to be betting a bit. And you're gonna have to mix in some stuff. So don't always bet with middle pair. Don't always bet with bottom pair. These weak pairs, don't always bet with these weak pairs, but definitely favor those hands that kind of are in the middle and could give you some backdoor straight potential. So he bets it, and it's on me. And I am going to be calling quite a bit. So I'm calling trips. It doesn't look like I'm raising much at all. So I like that. I'm glad I just called. And really, if I raise, he's going to fold out a lot of those hands, a lot of those one pair hands, a lot of those backdoor straight draw hands. When they're going to bet now, and then they might call a bet on the turn. So I think that's good. So I'm glad I made that call. Then we had the 9 of clubs come out on the turn, and villain can check or bet. He checks. Now, what kind of hand strengths is he checking? If he's playing GTO, he will have some flushes and some straights in his checking range. I don't think he really does. I would assume he would have bet all of his flushes, his made flushes. Exception maybe like 5-4 diamonds and Jack 9 of diamonds, maybe 9-8 of diamonds. He check, but the nut flush draw or the nut flush, he's going to be betting that. I also think sets would bet too. I don't think two pairs can really be sets and two pair probably bet. The overpair though, aces and kings, I think he might actually slow down with those. Same thing with top pair. So I think we'll have to take a look at those. Well, he checked, and now for us it's 50-50. I'm glad we're betting. Looks like we are betting trip sevens, which is good. We're betting our flushes, our straights, our sets, our two pairs. Some of our top pairs we're betting. I guess with the king of diamonds we're betting. Yeah, king of diamonds we're betting. And then some of our ace highs are betting. So these are going to be the ace of diamonds. Lone diamonds, ace of diamonds, jack of diamonds. So you can see like the nut flush we're betting, second nut we're mostly betting, third nut we're mostly betting, weak flush draws, not so much. About half the time we're betting, half the time we're not. And it looks like we're kind of mixing it up. Where those middle cards, like the 8, yeah, we've got flush draw and they open in a straight. We're going to be a little bit more careful. The 9s, we're going to be betting. We have trip 9s. The 6s, 5s, 4s, we're all just going to be checking low. 2s and 3s, it looks like we're betting. It looks like we're betting most of the time when we had the diamond, and that's probably because we don't figure to win. We really don't figure to win if that diamond comes, so probably just go for that bluff. So I do like my bet, and he calls. Now he should be calling with, maybe top pair type hands. And then a 3 of diamonds comes out on the river. Now he's supposed to bet 20% checks. He checks. And I do think you should be checking a lot of your hands. Nut flush is going to be betting, mostly betting. Mostly betting with that ace of diamonds. Second nut, sometimes bet, sometimes not. I think this is interesting. Jack of diamonds is going to be betting. So he checks, and now it's on me. And it is. We're about 50-50, but it looks like we're betting the flushes, we're checking showdown value hands, and then we're betting some bluffs, weak pair, middle pair hands. So I did check. I made the play. What did he show? He showed ace queen. So he had that nut flush that on that diamond. Should he have bet at all? It checks okay. That's okay. So we bet, and then his call, I think, is 100% okay. And then his check here, I do think it does say you should be betting for value, and he checks here. So kind of missed value with the nut flush draw. We could add that to the note. Now let's get some things fixed. I think we're gonna probably have to do some of these. Now I think since we weren't really raising much, I think that's good. So we called. Um, what about villain? Is he really going to be betting all of these, mixing it up? I think we could fix it based on how I think some of these players will play, and we'll take a look at it again. So I do think he bets all of his flushes. His straights. I think he bets his straights too, but I think he's going to be afraid of the flush on the set, two pair, over pair, top pair. I don't think he has any bluffs in his range. So all of these are going to be calls, weak pairs, ace highs. Yeah, I don't. Whoops. Those are all made flushes. Let's go back and get this straight fixed. All right, I think he's going to be betting those. Let's run our solver, and we'll come back when it's. All right, solver's done. So we've got kind of the hands that I think he would have checked here. Ace high, I've got a raise here. There should be a call. Let's fix that, and let's rerun that real quick. So run solver. All right, now let's check it out. So he checks, and now it's to us, and we bet a little bit higher frequency, but we're still betting the sevens. Eight's still a check. I guess explanation. We have an open ender. Jack gives us like the bottom end of the straight. Six gives us top end of the straight. I guess we don't want to bet and then get raised off our hand. Maybe. So if we bet, this is he supposed to raise? He raised a little bit. He raises with trip nines and trip tens, but probably just not EV play, because if we bet, we're probably behind. Yet we still bet with trip sevens. We still bet with two pair. So he bets, he calls, and then he checks again. And we're betting only with the flush, because if he calls, then it's likely the flush. But we are being aggressive. Now, if he raises, if he bets here, looks like we're only calling with the flush. I'm sorry, we're raising with the flush. We have ace of diamonds that we could raise with, but we call with trip sevens and trip nines. So I think I probably would have done that as well. All right. So overall, it looks like I played this hand decently for GTO. I think pre-flop maybe I could have raised it, try to get a heads up, but I think this is a hand where it could be 3-bet, could be called. So I think this works. If you like this hand, look tomorrow for another.